All right, good afternoon. It's Dwayne Richards, and this is Comm Cafe, the place where we talk with entrepreneurs and small business owners about mindset, personal development, and professional development. And today I have another guest on. It's Mr. Elliott Hiller. Now, we're going international today because I am sitting here in Toronto, Canada. Elliott's sitting on a gorgeous island, the island of Malta. Elliott Hiller is a personal friend, also a friend of a friend, and that's how I got introduced to him. And he is an author, coach, and he's at 1%. He is a professional network marketer. He's at 1% of the people that actually got out of the rat race. And I think we may actually talk about rats today, based on where he actually got his start. So, hey, welcome to the podcast, Elliott.
Oh, Dwayne, thank you very much indeed. And thank you for inviting me. It's an honor. You know how much I like you, how much respect I have for you. And, I have freedom of choice. I only work with like-minded people who care about other people. And that's exactly what you do. And that's why you've been successful yourself. So I'm looking forward to our talk today. Thank you so much.
All right. Now, I have a little controversial thing because sometimes I say, actually, I look for not like-minded people. So I look for people with difference of opinions because then we actually get better discussions. If we all agree with each other, we don't necessarily get good discussions. But I like what you said, the people that want to make a difference and lift people up. So that's
Dwayne, I've got you there because if we agree to disagree on certain subjects, then we are again in agreement. So we're like-minded people.
All right. I know I'm gonna have my challenges today because you have you have a psychology background or what's. Hey, let's get right into it. So maybe share a little bit with us, a little bit about your background. So I know where you are today. We won't say how old you are, but you're on the other. You're up there in experience. So let's share a little bit about where did you grow up? Was it Switzerland? It's in somewhere?
No. I'm an Englishman. I was born in London, grew up in London. I was there till I was 21. And then I went and studied in Switzerland for 4 years. I became a eurythmy therapist and had a great job offer after my studies in Germany. I thought I'd go there just for 1 or 2 years. I was working in a clinic for long-term addiction therapy. And I was a founder member. We were pioneers in the European Union. We got subsidies from the European Union. We had a very novel approach, which has been adopted by many other clinics all over the world. Since then, and I was there for over 20 years leading the medical department, and I have 5 children. And so actually I was a single parent with my first 2 while I was there in Germany. My second wife was German, had a little baby, so we had 2 more together. But we were able to say all 5 are our children. That was very, very helpful. They all grew up together. And I loved having a big family. But when they became teenagers, I needed more money. And even though I was at the top of my game, working the clinic, giving talks in schools and to parents, and traveling the world, advising other clinics, taking private patients, I still needed more money. A friend introduced me into network marketing at the beginning of the 90s, and for the next 8 or 9 years, I was doing both. I went into the clinic a couple of times a week. I was doing the network marketing part-time, and from 99 onwards, I was with a company that enabled me to go absolutely full-time. And in 2005, I was number 1 in Europe for that company. I was also number 1 worldwide. For a period of time. I was earning excellent money. I was unfortunately divorced and single, children out the house, and I looked around for somewhere pleasant to live, quality of life. I had residual income, plenty of it, and Malta is ideal. Malta is a little holiday island in the middle of the Mediterranean, and people come here on holidays, so I live where other people come on holiday. It's wonderful. And no one tells me what to do. No one tells me when to work, where to go, who to meet. It's a beautiful life. Network marketing has made it possible. I love this industry.
All right. And you are like I said, that top 1% or the top 5% who actually, but I love what you said. So just as a quick, maybe as a quick thing is that for almost, what was it, 8 years, you did both. So it's not like you said, hey, I saw network marketing, I'm going to quit what I do and I'm going to build. So you had the importance of having an income stream from both. As you know, is that important? Because some people say, okay, I go all in, or like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So maybe share a little bit, what led you to that success? Was it that you had the business first?
It's a great question, Dwayne. I think I was lucky enough to have the responsibility of a big family, which did not allow me to go full-time immediately. Besides the fact that I was doing a very worthwhile job, in a clinic we had heroin, alcohol, cocaine, gambling addicts there, long-term therapy, 12 to 15 months. So I was doing a worthwhile job. I was very united with the job. But I didn't have the luxury of saying, oh, I'm going to go full-time straight away. And when I had partners coming in, whichever company I was with later in the network marketing industry, I used to warn my partners not to go full-time immediately. I believe that many companies propose that and promote that to new people, and that there are leading distributors and representatives who want the people to do that because they think then they're really going to have to work hard. But as far as the individual person is concerned, it's not always the best decision. In fact, in the absolute majority of cases, it's not the best decision, in my opinion. And so I used to say to partners coming in who used to say, this is fantastic, and I just earned this month more than I earn at my actual job, and I've only been in here for 3 months. I'm going to quit. I'm going full time. I'd say, listen, let's make sure that you earn as much as you're earning at your job for 3 months straight, and then let's talk again. Because next month you might take a dip. The way many compensation plans are, you're going to hit a certain position, get bonuses. People think they've earned the money, but it's from the bonuses of their partners coming up beneath them. Yeah. And when their partners hit the same position as they have, either they lose out on the bonuses or they have a reduction in bonuses. And that means that they'll have less money coming in. So the excitement of that first, wow, I earned more this month than working 9 to 5 or 8 till 4, whatever it is, it's an illusion. It's a temptation. It's dangling the carrot in front of the donkey's nose. And I think it's only fair to warn people, make sure you have a very stable income from this network marketing company before you even think about going full time. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And like I said, that's your personal opinion, and you've been around. So from that, I think I know the answer. How important is it to understand a compensation plan of a company? Because lots of people see the money, right? They see the money, or they love the product. So actually, let's go it the other way. So sometimes people love the product. So I love this product. It's a health product. It's a relationship building product. I love the product. I'm just going to sell the product, and I'll just make money because I love the product so much, and I don't understand the compensation plan. So maybe share a little, because I know you've actually consulted companies on compensation plans. So maybe share a little bit about the importance of understanding your compensation plan.
Yeah, I have advised other companies and changed their compensation plan around, and they've seen great results from it. I love compensation plans. So the question is, how much do you have to understand the compensation plan in order to be successful? At the beginning, the numbers flying around, you can earn this and that and achieve that position, and then this and that is going to happen. That's not the compensation plan. Those are figures being banded around in front of you to get you into the company and to make sure that you're excited about how much you can actually earn. People don't really understand compensation plans until they start getting their first checks or bonuses, and then they kind of look and match it up and say, oh, I got that bonus because of reaching that position, and those people did this and that, and I sold so much product and everything. I firmly believe that it's not important to understand the whole compensation plan before you get going. When you're driving from Toronto to Detroit, you can follow the directions to get there, but you don't know in advance that after 40 miles, you're going to turn left onto highway so-and-so, and you're going to keep on that for 78 miles until you take this turning off. You don't have it all in your head beforehand. You know the route, Detroit, the goal, Detroit, and you follow it step by step. And I think that's the way it is with compensation plans. You need to understand the broad outlines, especially if this is your second, third, or fourth company. By that time, you've got a bit of experience, and you'll know what the pitfalls of a compensation plan are, or you'll be able to start identifying where that doesn't quite match up with the promises that are being made, or where it's really good. This time, they've sorted out the problem that I had last time. But you don't need to know the whole compensation plan. In fact, I've seen people get so involved. I'm about to tell you a funny story. Can I go off on anecdotes? Is that okay?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I love anecdotes.
So, you know, I've seen people wanting to understand the compensation plan and getting so much information in their head that they don't actually do anything. Now, I was involved with a telecommunications company, the golden age of deregulation. And we got a guy in, and I knew straight away, this is an intellectual. He was asking questions. He wanted to know this and that and everything else. And in the end, he said, yes, he's going to get going. And his sponsor was excited because he finally got a yes from him. And this guy studied all the rates for all the phone calls that a customer could possibly make. And he compared them, and he had tables, this company and that company and everything else. He didn't do anything, yeah? And after 3 weeks of huge preparation, he was ready to go out. He was with his first customer. And of course, he had my phone number because I was supporting my team and their partners like I try to. We should come on to that later, Dwayne. How much time do you spend with which people, yeah? But anyway, he had my phone number, so he phoned me up. He was lucky, I was at home. He said, Elliot, I'm here with a very important customer. No, hello, do you have a moment for me? Elliot, I'm here with a very important customer, and he's just asked me, what are our rates to Japan? Well, no. I said, have you asked him how often he phones Japan? He said, no. I said, okay, ask him. Ask him? I said, yeah, just ask him. He turned round, I could hear him say to his friend, how often do you phone Japan? And the answer came, actually never. I just wanted to see if you knew. So he called him out, and I can tell you why that happened. Because his friend, who he'd always known as this job or that job or some profession or whatever, yeah, had turned up at his house pretending to be an expert in the whole field, and he was flashing numbers at him and comparisons. I wouldn't be surprised if he showed him all his tables and this and that, and the guy, you know, was encouraged to ask questions because he was being bombarded with so much information. And he posed a great question, and he got him in his Achilles heel because he didn't know the rates to Japan. But he did follow the advice, which was, if you get stuck anywhere, say, I don't know the answer, but I know someone who does, yeah? And he got the right answer from me, which was, how often do you phone Japan? And he said, never. Well, in that case, you don't need to know, do you? Yeah? So it was a big learning curve for him, yeah, a big learning curve.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so how much do you need to know the compensation plan? Enough to get you to the next step and maybe the next 1 or 2 steps after that. But concentrate on the activity, not on the knowledge, not on knowing everything, but on doing. Yeah.
Yeah. And even in my business, if we want more, if we want more customers, make more appointments.
Absolutely. I think it was the great Lebanese author Khalil Gibran, or as we say in English, Khalil Gibran, who wrote The Prophet and those other great books. Prophet, Prophet, for all the listeners who are wondering whether it's the P-R-O-F-I-T book. He says something like, a little knowledge well used is more effective than much knowledge not used.
Yeah. And as I've learned in the personal development world, implementation is also important. So again, you can do all the learning you want, but if you don't actually start to apply it, it can be wasted.
So true. Lots of people sit in their cars, rev the engine, love the sound of it, never get out of neutral and into drive, and release the handbrake and sail off down the road.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now I have a couple more questions. So I love what we've talked about so far. Now just a little bit of introduction, a little bit of fun here. I hopped on your Facebook page and I saw a reference about a song, and there's a lot. You actually have a lot of music posts in here. So what's music mean to you?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. In the I've always strummed a guitar, you know, acoustic, self-taught, teenage years, London, messing around with friends. Bob Dylan and Van Morrison songs, they were the main influence.
Mm-hmm.
And in the clinic where I was in the 90s, we had a doctor, fantastic guitarist, and we formed a band. He and I were from the therapist side, patients who were there, the singer, bassist, drummer, and we used to give some concerts. And I realized learning those 36 songs, which, you know, we were performing, Rolling Stones, Santana, Beatles, all those people, Lynyrd Skynyrd, that there was a certain pattern to it. And that kind of helped me to discover my songwriting abilities. And I just started off recording, composing a couple of songs. And just a couple of years ago, a friend introduced me to a French singer, speaks great English. She loved my songs. She's recorded 14 of them with fantastic musicians. And there should be a CD coming out soon. Lo and behold, the singer is Lawrence J. So music transports, doesn't it? I remember the first time I heard Astral Weeks by Van Morrison. And at that time, I was about 18 or 19. It was my atheist phase. And I wasn't into spirituality, but I was transported into those other worlds. And I felt, you know, there's a voice coming from somewhere else, and I'm being uplifted here. And when I had my spiritual awakening, 21 years of age, a lot of things started to make sense. And music is from this world and is otherworldly. And it's so good, you know, if you have any kind of musical talent or not, you should be doing something. How often do I hear people say, I can't sing? I say, do you sing in the shower? They say, oh yeah, but that's just for me. Well then sing for you. Do you play an instrument? You know, learn some kind of simple instrument. Or if you don't do any of those things, fill yourself up with music that means something to you, that touches your soul. It's important to be touched in your soul, to be moved. When we're moved, we awaken ripples of feelings. Feelings can turn into compassion. We need more compassion in the world. We are getting stunned and dulled by one catastrophe after the other, by being online so much and thinking we're communicating with people and with friends, but we're not actually communicating enough live with people, face to face. If you have children out there, all you parents out there, get your children together to play together, and you play with them board games, whether it's Monopoly, whether it's Ludo, whatever it is. Children need to experience what happens when you win and when you lose. They need to see the emotions in the faces of other people. Dwayne, here's a really important statistic. More and more young people between the ages of 15 and 28 are unable to read the emotions in the faces of the people they are talking with. That is not good news.
That's shocking.
That is shocking. And why are they unable to do that? Because they've grown up with too much two-dimensional activity and not enough three-dimensional real meeting, playing with real people, having exchanges and interactions with other human beings and children of their age, and just learning that.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to toot my own horn. I love asking a good question where we just, as that one little question, we trigger such a great response. So thank you so much for that. And what's your, I'll take a quick little side story, if that's okay. when you talk about board games and other things, so I have two young sons, and I play to win. Some people say, hey, you should let your son, you let them win. I'm like, I'll let them win if they win. But like if we're playing, like we have actually go to a cottage in the summer and we play croquet. And the grown-ups, it's everyone for themselves. But if they win, they win. But if they don't win, no one's getting like it's about importance about being a good loser. Like not to say a good loser, but lose with dignity is also win with dignity. Like win like you've won before is a phrase I like to share with some people. Is that be a good sport about it. So if you've won, like don't run around the field jumping up and down. Celebrate, but win like you've been there before. As well as lose, like go up and shake the other person's hand and do it in a respectful way. And you can learn that through board games and cards and just amazing.
Dwayne, absolutely. And yeah, when parents play with their children, you have to play to win. There's no helping them and educating them if you let them win. All my children played tennis. They had tennis lessons, and my eldest son was the first to beat me. Now, actually, he should have been able to beat me when he was about 14. We used to play pretty regularly, but he didn't manage till he was 16. And we used to speak about this. He said he had the dad complex. Yeah. And I knew that once he beats me, I'll never beat him again because he was better. Yeah. And finally, when he was 16, boom, he got the match point, he won, he came up to the net, he said, I'm sorry, Dad. I said, sorry? I've been paying money all these years for your tennis lessons so that you can be better than me. I've been waiting for this day. I'm happy about it, you know? And to this day, when I get together with my children, and now sometimes my grandchildren, the ones who are old enough, and we play a card game, whatever it is, or a board game, I always play to win. I say to them, Hillers are winners. Now, I can't say that to them if I'm playing to lose so that they can win. Yeah? No.
All right. And I guess let's maybe go into, let's venture into a little bit of mindset. So first we'll touch in about possibly the mindset of our children, or of younger people, where there's that respect thing to say, okay, I have that, because tennis and sports and business is a lot mental as well. So preparation for people. So your son had the technical skills, but didn't necessarily have the killer mindset to say, okay, I'm going to just slam him down and I'm going to win. So maybe share a little bit back to how you effectively built teams and other things. So some of the coaching that you do around mindset. So maybe can we share a little bit about some advice you have about mindset in just day to day, like getting out of bed in the morning?
Absolutely. Good question. I'm very strong on quotes. I think if you find a powerful quote that means something to you, you should live with it for a while. Again, I did this with my children. I used to have one of those plastic covers on the walls of each of their bedrooms, and once a week I'd print out the quote of the week, big capital letters, have it on the wall of their room so that they'd be living with it for a week. And when they became teenagers, some of them didn't like it. You know, my eldest daughter, for example, 14, 15, 16, she couldn't stand all this PMA, all this positive mental attitude, all the Napoleon Hill stuff. Yeah, but she had to keep on living with it because I said, look, as long as you're under my roof, this is what I do. When she went away to university, I'll never forget the conversation we had when she came back after a first trimester at university. She said, Dad, thank you so much for all those positive quotes all over the years. When I see the problems that my fellow students can't deal with and their attitude towards them, and I realize, hey, there's a way to solve this, it's going to get better if I can just find the way, then I'm really grateful for what you did. So there's the lead into one of my favorite quotes from Napoleon Hill. Every adversity bears within it the seed of an equal or better opportunity. It just depends what we make of it. So personal development in the team and the organization. If I'm working with people personally, and you should be working with your leaders, no matter where they are in the compensation plan, what level, what position, what this or that, you need duplication. You're not safe in your position until you've not only duplicated yourself, but your leaders are duplicating themselves. So it's the duplication of the duplication. And when that's happening almost automatically, then you get starting to be really safe in your earnings and in your income possibilities. So when you're working with them, find out what books they're reading. If they're not reading books, recommend some books. Say, this one really helped me. I used to have regular leaders meetings where people would travel from all over the country. This is while I was in Germany, building up my business. They travel from all over the country once a month on a Monday evening. We spend a couple of hours together talking about the business, discussing things, discussing strategy. I've always looked to have a common ground with my leaders, and they loved it. But we also had a section where someone would offer to talk about the book that they've been reading the last month, and we'd gather a whole long list of books so that we could give them to the leaders and they could pass on to the people. Choose a book, the one that you feel drawn to will probably be the right one for you. Trust your guidance. Read it, get back to me, let me know how you liked it. So, the basic thing is, I'm sure you've heard this from many other people as well, Dwayne. I know that you practice it. As far as I'm concerned, no success in business without personal development. Yeah, the two go absolutely hand in hand. In fact, I'm a firm believer in spiritual fulfillment and material wealth going hand in hand. If you're going to become a better person, not for yourself, not for your own elevation, not for your own well-being, not for your own advantage, but becoming a better person to help other people become better people, that will reflect back on you. That is what is going to elevate you and help you to get on in the world and become successful in your business.
Fantastic. All right, I have two more questions from that. So we just talked so much about books. I asked this the other day. So if someone's hearing about personal development for the very first time, or someone like a younger, like say your grandchildren, what would be that first book that you would introduce? Hey, your grandchildren, even better. What's that first book you're going to either you have or you're going to introduce to your grandchildren to start their path on personal development?
Well, again, great question, Dwayne. I think I would go for The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Yeah, I think that's basic, finding your way through life. Yeah, study those four agreements. Yeah, internalize them, make them a part of you, make them a part of your everyday character. That's good stuff.
All right. Hey, how about while we're on that, in case someone doesn't know what the four agreements are, hey, we'll just share one, and then I'll post something, because actually I've written I don't know if I wrote the blog yet, but I've referenced the four agreements. So maybe just since I have you can share with us what's the first of the four. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, but what's the first of the four agreements?
Well, the first one that comes to my mind would be always do your best in every situation, because then you're never going to have to have any kind of self-reproach. I could have done more, I could have done this or that, in any situation, whatever it is. Walking along the street, holding the door open for someone, helping a friend in desperate need of something or other. Always do your best. Be the best you can possibly be, yeah, in any and every situation.
And that ties back to our earlier conversation about playing. If you're going to play to win. Like, why would you not do your best if you're playing a board game? Why would you not do your best? So and again, this is just an example about the four agreements that people say, but it does tie back to everyday living. That's what I loved. I love that that piece about the four agreements as well.
Now, another book that I would recommend, very close behind the four agreements, would be Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude by Napoleon Hill. I know that Think and Grow Rich is his big one, and all you have to do is say to people, Think and Grow Rich, and say, oh yeah, Napoleon Hill. But Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, I actually prefer that one. I really like that one, and I recommend that one to people as well. Yeah,
I have not heard of that one. I also recommend Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil, because I was a part of a mastermind and we had to read Outwitting the Devil, which is really fascinating. The fact that it was just published, but it was written, pretty good chunk of time ago.
There are some talks of his online on YouTube. If you can catch hold of them, they're great. What he does with his voice, the way he intonates, the way he gets his message across. You know, there are radio talks of his from the 50s on there. Brilliant. I mean, he really was the granddaddy of us all, wasn't he? He was the granddaddy of us all.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I know we talked about this, and I think we'll maybe share this as our key tip for people in the. It's not just about network. It's not just about network marketing. This is actually about in business, because if I have customers or if I have business partners, time. And it's not about time management, but we touched on it a little bit earlier. How do you decide who gets your time?
You decide who gets your time by trying to discern who deserves your time, as opposed to who thinks that they need your time. In a network marketing organization, you're going to have lots of people who need their hands held. And the longer you hold their hands, the less able they will be to walk and work independently of you. They will come to depend on you more and more for every little thing. So don't even get into the habit at the beginning when someone phones up and says, oh, I don't know, for example, this order never got delivered, and what can I do in this? Oh, listen, I know someone in the company because obviously I'm in good touch with them. Yeah, because I'm such an important person and such got a high position in the company as a rep, distributor, something. I'll phone, I'll get it done for you. Don't even go there. Tell the person, you know, that's what customer support is there for. You can phone them or you can send an email and write down the order number and let me know if you're satisfied with the answer. That's the way to do it. Don't brush them off. Show them that you're in touch with them. Let me know if you're satisfied with the answer, because that means you'll help them if they're not. But you have to teach them to become independent. And then look in your organization, who's actually doing something, who's working hard, who's going for it, who's introducing people, who's trying to support their people, who's coming to you with the right questions but not expecting you to do things for them. They deserve your time and attention. And that's where you should be applying it, because you want to build a strong organization. Again, you are not safe just because you have a bunch of leaders in there. You start to become safe when your leaders have found and developed their own leaders and they are capable of doing the same. That's when you can start to relax. And that's not going to happen after 2 or 3 months. So there's no point in you going full-time straight away. And with a good company, it could, and you working hard and finding the right people, it could happen after 15 or 18 months or 2 to 3 years. It's not something that happens overnight.
Mm-hmm. All right. I like that. So thank you so much, because this is a whole part of the series, is it's getting the truths and the knowledge and the lessons that have been learned from people that have done it and have been successful in it. And I know that the people I'm interviewing, like yourself, are just a wealth of knowledge, and also servant leaders that you want to share what you've learned, because if we can help people get there a little bit easier, they still have to do the work, but if we can get them there a little bit easier, that's our goal. All right. One final question. What do you spend your time thinking about these days?
In which area of my life?
Just what's getting your time today? Like, what are you thinking about? Pick one area that's getting. I know you're thinking about, your different areas, but what's the one area that gets more than its share of your time?
I'll try and unite this as best I can. Since I was 21, really, I want to serve. I want to help. I want to support. I want to enable people to take charge of their own life and develop themselves, self-development, and to make the best of their lives for them and for everyone who's concerned with them. So through them, reaching other people. I was lucky enough to have it in the therapy work, We had a big reunion a couple of years ago from the clinic where I started in 1982, where I spent all those years. We had a reunion, and there were patients and co-workers and fellow therapists there from all the years, from the 80s and the 90s, when I'd stopped at the end of the 90s. And, you know, all day long, Dwayne, people were coming up to me, Elliot, I still do your exercises, you know, or Elliot, I want you to meet my wife, these are my children. I can't tell you how moving that is, Dwayne. And the wife says, my husband speaks about you every now and then. He's a wonderful father. So to think that, you know, at the end of your life, when your whole life flashes in front of your eyes and you get asked that question, what did you do with your life? How much did you really love? On that day, I thought to myself, you know, if I was to die now and that was to happen to me, I would say, Lord, can we have a look at this little bit here? I think I might have something. And as long as I'm here, I want to carry on helping people and enabling people as much as I can and have that knock-on effect. So that means in the business world, I'm looking to help people have financial freedom, have a quality of life, but to get there through their own efforts. There are too many stories of people who, you know, win the jackpot and the lotto and a huge sum and millions, and 2 or 3 years later they've lost it all and they're destitute. They moved away from their neighborhood and lost all their friends. They, you know, don't quit your day job too quickly, whatever it is that you're getting into, or make sure that you're looking after the people around you. So that's really what I'm interested in. I think it's important to me to try and bring out all my gifts, talents, and abilities by helping other people be able to develop their gifts, talents, and abilities. That's really all I know, Dwayne, and I'm not too broad in my scope of things. That's a huge field that I just mentioned, but I'm really stuck on that, and to me that is everything that there is. That's what I'm after. That's what I think about these days, Dwayne. How can I help other people have a better quality of life through earning more money in a good, positive way, because they're helping other people through it is whatever they're doing.
Wonderful. Hey, and I know we had this, that if people want to get coached by you, what better thing to come to Malta? Like, I would love to come to Malta to get coached. So, okay, so just to wrap up, I'm pretty sure you're open to meeting new people. So how can people reach you if they like what they've been hearing today and they just want to, they want to, you know, if they're coming to Malta, they want to, you know, come and have a drink on the patio or on the beach in Malta. So how can people find you, Elliot?
Dwayne, I have no idea how many people are going to listen to this, but I'd say I'll give you my email address. I don't mind. Write me an email, because if you're serious, write me an email and let's talk about it. My name is Elliot Hiller. My middle name is Martin. So my email address is elliothiller@gmail.com. That's ELLIOTMHILLER@gmail.com. And be happy to hear from you.
Exactly. So if someone wants to, you know, if someone's serious, then make it a little bit of work. So you actually have to draft an email to you and just say, hey, hello, ask your questions. So fantastic. I want to thank you so much for your time today. We touched on some great things about your passion and the connection of music, the therapeutic background, and how you use that mindset work that you did and brought that in to be a servant leader and a successful 1%er in the network marketing business industry by having that amazing background that you had. And then just choosing the lifestyle, like go live where people go on vacation, because if you have true residual income, you can still do whatever you need to do and just pick a tax efficient country to do it in. All right.
Absolutely. Dwayne, thank you so much for inviting me. I really enjoyed this. You're a great host, posed great questions, and it was a great conversation with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.